Hello, welcome. How is everyone today? Come on in. Here we go. Yeah, I'm on this. Oh, get you guys all in here. Let's see what's that doing there. I'm going to say hello. Saying hello to everybody. That's what I'm typing out. So hello. Let me do it again because it didn't show up on Periscope for some reason. And welcome everyone. Come on in. Grab your coffee, your tea, your water, your pop, whatever you drink in the morning or afternoon or evening, wherever it is that you are watching this afternoon. And thank you for joining me. I'm going to bring up some of my notes on my iPad here. Oh, swipe up. There you go. It's not an iPad, but it's a tablet. So there we go. Bring that up. Whew. So I got quite a few, been answering a few emails this morning, and answering a few messages in that. There's a lot of people have been feeling very off, off-centered, off-kilter. A lot of you have been feeling, dizzy, disoriented, feeling unstable. And I don't mean unstable that you're but feeling unstable within yourselves and with the energies that are coming in and around you right now. Some are having weird sacral issues. So the sacral issues could be bloating, gas, diarrhea. For women too, it could be that your menstrual cycle is going to be off a little bit right now because things are just happening within you. So things are just, when it comes to the sacral and into your solar plexus. So things, energy there might be a little bit wonky for you at this time. What else? I don't know. I called this day a cold electrical day. When I went out this morning, and that's what I felt. I felt it cold. It was cold this morning. It was only -8, which is, -8 in here. It was like in Calgary. It's like, well, it's not too bad, but it was like a bitter cold. It was this bitter, and it was very. I could feel like little electricity in the air. It's quite weird. It was a very weird type of feeling this morning. And it was dark. It was really dark. Of course, the moon, you can't see the moon yet because the moon is still in the dark phases. The moon is just going to start coming out. But it was dark and clear. So it was a clear sky. The stars were out. It was just absolutely beautiful. I could see all of the beautiful, different stars and everything else and constellations. And it wasn't as bright as if I was out in the middle of the wilderness, of course, but it was still pretty cool for being in the middle of a big city and being able to see that, right? And as I'm walking along, it just I felt, and I don't know if any of you have been feeling this, a lot of lurking energies. So whenever I do a walk, my first thing that I do, and if I'm out, especially when I'm by myself, or, I always call in Archangel Michael, I call in my guards, I call in my angels, and I always put on my God shield. My God shield is, what, guys, it's what I put on all the time. It is a conscious thing that I do before I go out and I do anything. I put this God shield on and I ask for the triple protection of the divine, and asking for them to watch over me, above me, below me, to the left, to the right, before and behind. And I ask for this protection through all of that of love and light and beyond. And I call in the golden shield. I call in the energies of love, and I call in the energies of purity of light. And it's just a little thing I do in my head, and I call that in. And this morning I was calling in Archangel Michael a lot, and it wasn't that where I go for a walk, it's nice. It's but it just felt like there was a lot of crazy energies out there, a little bit extra than usual. And so I knew that there was, and it's not, human form that I was feeling, just an FYI. So these are lurking little energies that I know that are around, and they like to stir around, and they lurk around the trees, and they lurk in different areas. And, usually, whenever I go by and I see a beautiful clump of evergreen trees, I always say hi, and hi to all the little fairies and little gnomes and all the little energies that are in there. And so I'm very conscious of the energies that are there. But this was a little bit different. And I usually go down, there's a little plateau that I go down, and there's a gazebo down there, and I stand there, and then you can go down further when it's really nice, and you can go, down by the reservoir. And it's about one flight down, one flight of stairs, so about 15 stairs down. So I didn't go down there this morning because it was a little bit icy from the rain and stuff yesterday, but standing there, and I could feeling this energy and this, and the flow and the crispness of the air and the electricity going through the air. And I'm thinking, Uranus, yes, you're stopping. Coming in tune with the planets is really cool. I mean, that's very shamanic. That's what the shamans used to do. Go out there and become one with the stars, come one with the energies. And I was asking, and I always ask, is there anything, that I need to know or that I need to find out? Let me, help and guide me throughout this day so that whatever I need to know. And I've been looking into a lot more about asteroids and how the asteroids have an influence a lot with us. And some of the asteroids have been around for many, many years. They're in the asteroid belt. Some of them, like Chiron, that looks like a planet, but it's not a planet, is that planet that bridges Saturn and Uranus. It is that bridge. So he is that bridge between the two, right? And how he is wanting to heal that energy of that, right? And that's where, that's what he's doing. He's always this bridge. And how we are connecting, because Saturn is the last planet we can see. So it's that energy from the conscious to the subconscious. And as we go out and into the planets and into the stratosphere, we have these outer planets, which are our subconscious. And Pluto, still being in Capricorn, as he came in, this is where, as he came into Capricorn, he began to dip down. And because that's the way he, as he orbits around the sun, there takes a time where he goes like dips down. So he's not on the same ecliptic as what the sun is. So he's kind of dips down and goes into his underground. Now, as he's gone into this underground, he started to do this in 2008. He likes it there, and he usually spends longer in that time. The fastest I think he was in any sign was in Libra, and that was in 1972 to 84, thereabouts. So that was like one of the fastest times because he just whipped through there. And so that was like fast acting, fast changing. Let's get things done. We got this done. Here you go. Now he's in Capricorn. He's taking his time because he's in this, going into this depths, into this deepness of us figuring out our lives, figuring out our world, figuring out things and trying to find information and bringing in all this information, right? And it's like keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's like we're going into this energy of this, like there's still more. Oh my God, we're still going into this pyramid, and we're finding that there's layers and layers underneath this pyramid that we were just totally unaware of, but it keeps going because there's still depths of information there for us. And along with that, we have, with Uranus stopping, and Mars barreling towards him, And Mars is this is where all the energies of the planets are going direct for 2 weeks until Mercury goes retrograde. This energy of everything going direct, it's like, okay, give us some answers. We want to know. We want to get some answers. Yet Neptune is taking a real bashing with some, with Jupiter and Saturn, and taking some real bashing there with this semi-square. And then he's also squaring the nodes. So there's some real tense energy when it comes to, our belief systems, our thought patterns on how we are understanding things. And it can be very delusional because we can get caught up into a lot of crazy headspaces and get lost very, very easily. We can get lost in these delusions. And we have this energy of this square that's coming in with Jupiter and Uranus and wanting answers. And Mars, which has given us this energy, he's the one who got us through 2020. He was in his home. He was doing his thing. Even though he was retrograde, he was giving us energy. And now he's like in this ugh. It's like, ugh. It's hard to move. It's hard to get answers. It's hard to open up doors. We're pushing and we're pushing. And the thing is that this isn't a time to push. This isn't because if we're overcomplicating things in order to make things work, or if things are coming in overcomplicated, we've got to just back away. Because we're going to find, especially with Uranus and all of this energy, and all these guys are coming in, they're asking Uranus questions. And he's like, hey, man, I just woke up. I'm figuring out what's going on with the galaxy, and I'm going and I'm doing my things, and I'm going into the other realms. That's what Uranus does. But he brings in the energy, and it can be very different. So you think you're looking at a certain window, but you're not. You think you're going in a certain direction, you're not. You think what was right is now wrong, and what was wrong is now right. You're going to find that there's these flips that are going to be happening with Uranus. And it's really crazy. And with all of this, of course, as we are walking our earth walk, can feel that disorientation, that dizziness, trying to stay grounded. Blue spruce is what I used this morning. Is it blue spruce or black spruce? Black spruce, sorry. Black spruce I used this morning. And with this, what I do is that I use 12 drops, put it into my hand, put my lotion on it, and I rubbed it, blessed it, added energies in there, and asking for the energies of balance and of connection and of grounding. And I rubbed it in the bottom of my feet and then put my sock on. I did that for both. Like I had enough, 12 was enough for both feet, right? So doing that, because that spruce is grounding. So I wanted to bring in some grounding energy for me today so I can be focused. And I mean, it's still feeling a little, I can just feel it like right here. And I know it's my third eye that is really buzzing right now, and a lot of energy that's just buzzing. And so there is that energy of us really having to stay in our focus and in our light. It is so imperative for us to do that. And the star that because I have an app on my phone, and that I go and I look at, where's the stars today? And one star, was just so bright, so beautiful. And I'm just looking, I'm just like, well, I know Venus is over there and this is over there. And I'm like, are you Regulus? And I held it up, and it was. And I'm like, what do you have to tell me today? What is there that you have to tell me? I need something. I need some information from you. What do you need to tell me today? And so came home, and I'm, sort of like, I asked, and I, sort of didn't really think about it. Then I started to go through my astrology and through some of my charts and everything else. And then I thought, oh, okay, well, deep astrology was on with Leo King. Let me see what he has to say, and what, with the charts. I love when he goes through the charts because it gives me an explanation. I love how this light just all of a sudden decided to come into my room. Anyways, this energy started coming when he was doing the charts. And I'm just like, what is this that he has to know? And then he goes, I just found, and he says, and this is odd because he goes, I just found this out. And I went, and he goes, and it's about Regulus. And I went, what? What do I need to know? Well, there's asteroids that are out there. We're going to talk. One is called, there's actually an asteroid called Wuhan, and there's an asteroid called Lucifer, believe it or not. And the asteroid with Wuhan, he moves very quickly. He brings in distractions, and it's like a city that just appears and that you never knew was there and then disappears. He comes in very industrious and very and changing quite and wanting to make change within our industrial energy. Interesting. And we'll put him over there because he's going to play some really interesting energy over the next while. Hang on, let's get this. I love the sun, but I want you to be able to see me. So there we go.
Write my phone number down for me.
Oh, my husband comes in the middle of my scope, and I asked him before. I said, "Steve, is there anything that you need to know from me?" And I think he always forgets that this is a live feed and people can hear you. So you guys can say hi to my husband, Steve. He's hiding over in the corner. So one of the things that are coming in, he wants his phone number, guys. So hang on here. I have to write his phone number down for him on a piece of paper. So luckily this is live. This is my life, guys. This is what happens. I'll be doing something and then.
I went by court because they got a bunch of money from me. And I didn't know. So I gotta find it. Thank you.
He's got a bunch of money. So with this energy, with this Regulus energy, he started to talk about it, and he was talking about the asteroid Lucifer and where Lucifer is. Now, Lucifer is an asteroid that, let me just bring in the Google. When it was found. It's found in Australia in 1964. It was discovered in around Australia. Funny, it was found down under. Haha. 1930 Lucifer provisions designation in 1964. So it has an orbital period of 1,799 days. It was discovered October 29th, 1964. Named after Lucifer. And it was found first seen through us down and around Australia. Interesting. And they named it Lucifer. I love when they name things, because names have meanings. So whatever you name your child, it has a meaning. It holds energy for that. So naming it Lucifer, and it was named after Lucifer. And the Dark Lord. And he is sitting on top of Regulus. Regulus is our heart. Regulus is this energy of purity of our guidance. Regulus is our guide. It guides our heart. It comes in and it's in Virgo. And it's in this energy of creating our light, creating harmony within us. That's what Regulus is. So Regulus comes in and it creates this of us to bring in harmony and purity of light into our lives and into how we work within our daily lives, our routine, our health, all of that, because Virgo rules the 6th house. And Lucifer's there, like right there, right? And he's kind of like shadowing a lot of what we want to do. So what we think is light may not be exactly light. And that's the thing. That's the other part too, is that what I see is that this false light coming in, that is, this purity of heart that's sucking us up. And then when we're getting disoriented, it's like almost where it's, okay, is this where we really have to take a moment. It is like the beautiful goddesses, the Amazon goddesses coming out, and they're on the beach, and all of these arrows, all of this energy that's coming at them, and they're trying to deflect it, is trying to get them disoriented so they don't continue their trek on bringing forth positivity, bringing forth their light. And this can be very ominous for us. This can be very, bringing us into coldness. And it can also have where, in that darkness, where we're going to feel that weird lurking energies that are around. And doing our God shield, bringing it in, because there's a lot of where we have our old techniques of this is how we've always protected ourselves. But again, when I was listening to David, this is like all coming together with David Wolf and this Armanum, this techno energy. The techno energy is very cold and it's electrical. And this techno electrical energy that's coming in, and this is where we have to be aware, because it is where I'm going to call the Antichrist. It is this energy that is people think it's the bright light, but it's not. So this is where we have to come into our own due diligence on what we are doing and what we are saying. Information, how we're putting our information out. How does that look? Because the one thing is that, there's so many avenues here that are coming in. One thing that keeps coming up is, there's a lot of really Telegraph and a few other messenger groups that are coming out. But here's the thing. You're still going to get the assholes that are on there and the bottom feeders. You're not going to get rid of those. They're still going to be there. I would rather go with the enemy I know than the enemy I don't know. I'd rather work with what I do know than going somewhere where I don't really know, if that makes any sense. And going and doing what I do know, because I know what I can and cannot do. If I'm going into somewhere unknown, because I'm on Telegraph, and do you know how many perverts I've had on there? Just, hey, how are you? Oh, I love to see you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, fucking perverts coming out of the woodwork. And here I'm trying to make it a, working with this to make it, what do you call it? A business one, right? And that's where you for me, well, you have to make it probably a private one or go into some kind of private. I got to look at this even more. But offers for employment, block user, offers for all kinds of crazy things, right? And there's some really weird energies that are coming up through it too. But this is where it's like, okay, yeah, this is good. But I'm going to continue doing what I do know. Yeah, I'm going to explore other platforms, definitely, or things like that. But there's too many people racing over to, oh, it's new over here, let's go. Oh, it's going to be safer over here. And I'm just like, is it really? Is it really that, this is where it's, because people don't, it's almost where, because I got the big dudes are just like, yeah, okay, yeah, go over there. We'll watch you. They're still watching. They may not, the thing is that them as an app may not be getting information, but there are other sources that might get the information. So this is where I think we have to really, especially with that Lucifer on top of on Regulus is us, really having to be aware of where we're putting our energy, and if it's getting complicated, if it's getting overwhelming, it's like time to just back off, not try to fix it, and not try to uncomplicate it. Because the thing is about humans is that we love to uncomplicate the complicated. We love to untangle things or find a solution to something. It's got to be a solution for something. It's got to be maybe do this. But it could just be that, okay, it's tangled up. I'm just going to let it be. And going with what I do know, because that's all I can do right now. And going with the light I do know. And trusting and coming back and trusting me. Because the one card that we got this morning was the Page of Cups. And with the Page of Cups coming in, and the Page of Cups coming up, the Page of Cups it's intuition, sensitive, very sensitive to the energies that are around, tend to have a stronger inner wisdom that baffles most people. But it is about, wants to explore and feel into these qualities. So this Page of Cups came up, yet the Page of Pentacles was reversed. So it's, I want to explore, but I may not be getting all the right answers, and it may not be feeling all right. So maybe I have to back off, because the Nine of Swords show up. So reversed. So that means things are going to be disoriented. You might having this great, wonderful, this is wonderful, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do this. Yet you're feeling off, you're feeling disoriented, you're not feeling in alignment. Time to back off. And there's so much that we want to start doing, we want to get going, we want to push ahead, and we want to feel like this enthusiasm energy, we want to channel it into a discussing future plan without enough action or organization. We want to take action, we want to do something. We want to villainize something and make, it's all their fault. This is why we're in this problem. We're seeing it in the world around us. Might be seeing it in your own world, where things are, nobody's taking ownership. It's being pushed out. So this is when it's like, whoa, I need to back up. I need to breathe. Because with the Nine of Swords coming in, there's a lot of disorientation with the energy. And with that asteroid Lucifer on top of Regulus, there's a lot that's going to be really encompassing us in a darkness. So, and this is where we have to be diligent on what and where we are going. It's so important. And it's amazing because, when I'm starting to get into more of the asteroids when it comes to the astrology, how they really have an influence on what we are saying and how we are doing and how things, how we react. So that brings in a whole another energy level on how those asteroids do influence parts of us. And 1962 brought in 1964. So in 1964, there was, the country was in turmoil. There was an assassination. There was things, going, changes were happening. There were riots going on, and people were starting to look at, the Vietnam War. And so there's a lot of crazy chaos that was coming in the world around us. So in 1964, let's just take a look. I'm just curious right now. '64. Mustang came out, got a Chevy truck, got the 1964 Corvette. So some cool looking vehicles came out. 1964. Headlines. what happened 1964? So key points of 1964. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was act. The Beatles hold the top 5 position in the billboards. American race riots were starting to become huge. The first pirate radio started up. Interesting, surgeon. So this is like really getting into gasoline. There was gasoline roar. Inflation rates went up. 1964, the Vietnam War and U.S. Congress authorities. So when the founding of Lucifer, there's some crazy activities that started to come up in the world and activate it. So now that he's sitting on top of Regulus, there's a lot of activation that's being started right now on disillusionment. I mean, the Vietnam War was a fucked up war. I mean, they shouldn't even have gone in. They're fighting a war on they knew nothing about. They didn't know the land. They didn't know the culture. They didn't understand what the reasoning being, why they were there. So it was a real fucked up war. And the race riots coming up in 1964. So there was so much coming in that was bringing in a lot of chaos. And you can't fight chaos with chaos. You can't go in with working with the goddess Hecate and throw chaos at her. I mean, she's gonna fuck you up, baby. And same with Callie, because Callie's still there. Callie's still working. She's still within this energy. That's energy of chaos. So if you're gonna try and fight this, if you're gonna try and push it, and that's what people are doing, you're gonna find that it's not going to end out well. It's going to bring in a lot more craziness. Boston Strangler, all kinds of craziness were coming in during that time. Martin Luther King Jr. won the Nobel Peace Prize. And then going into space. Space was a huge thing. And space was becoming the new thing. So that was very interesting. It was a leap year. And it was a leap year. Funny. So just saying, lots of craziness. So staying in your light is going to be an important part, and it's going to be a important piece for us to come in. And if you're feeling disoriented, off, you're going to be feeling that for a little bit. So honoring yourself with that. Don't be pushing yourself. You might be pushed to, people lashing out on you because we have that opposition with Venus and Mars. So it's, crazy, man. Crazy. Let me know how you're doing. PM me if you're feeling a little bit off or something. Even if you just want to send me out a message, definitely send out a message. Let me know how things are going. I was just looking at the female archangels right now. And with their energetics. Okay, there's the Jermiel, Archangel Jermiel, which is your sacral. Yeah, that sounds about right. Orange rays of acceptance to liberate your past. So her affirmation is, I am the light within the dark. I am the solution to every problem. I choose to live life through a new lens, for I am free. I am free. So call in the Archangel Jeremiel, and call her in. You can call her in by saying her name 3 times. Ask her to surround you and be with you, in you, and around you, in all that you say, and all that you be, and all that you do. And it is the Archangel of Freedom that we're calling in, which is a female. She works with Jeremiel. I should state that. It's not Jeremiel. Archangel Jeremiel is the male counterpart, and the Archangel Freedom is the female counterpart. So we're bringing in that energy of yellow and orange. So a lot of gold again. So we're bringing in this golden light to surround us right now. So we want to bring in these golden lights so that we can stay within our freedom of who we are, stay in within our purity of our energy, and bringing in the violet light of transformation. So strengthening our boundaries. So we call in the Archangel of Purity and the Archangel of Zadkiel to strengthen our boundaries and the energies around us, so that with all of the penetration of this energies that are coming in, that are trying to bring us into disorientation and throw us off, that we can bring in those shields to help us upon our journey throughout the day and in all that we are doing. So we're in some crazy energies, and it's just going to, I got to tell you, it's going to get a lot more turbulent with the energies. So it's going to be more diligence for us to stay and continue on. Those who suffer any migraines or anything like that, I'm sending you guys out loads of blessings, just to be careful. Honor yourself with those, with that energy. Any electrical, anything to do with nerves and things like that is going to be a big one for people too. So just, let's just honor ourselves through all of this. Okay. Sending you guys out some big love, and spell castings at the end of the month, and the Archangel class is coming up in February. And I think we have to start working with the newer energies. And I also have the karmic release, which is going to be coming up in, I think I said May. Will be coming up in May, more into the springtime. So we're into a little bit different energies there, and Mars will be out of Taurus. So that'll be a positive thing with that. And I think, is it May? Yeah. Jupiter goes into Pisces then. So that's going to bring in some spirituality too. So we have some really cool energies that are going to be coming in May. So that's a good time to take the karmic release weekend and do the karmic release weekend. And that'll be happening in May, probably just before the long weekend. So you have a week to sort of process it and then have the long weekend and stuff like that. So what a great ship that we decide to sign up on this beautiful journey that we're on. Sending you out so much love. May the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Blessed be everybody, and thank you for joining me this morning and being a part of my soul family. Blessed be everybody. Bye-bye.